Hola.
We're just waiting for Dom to pop on, but welcome everybody to Pod Against the World,
Woo
our
woo.
weekly Art Against the World podcast. We're joined today by Dom Promo, as always, and this is Brenton, or Ghost, as he's known in these circles. Brenton's been involved in Art Against the World from the very beginning, along with a number of other local Seattle art activities. Welcome.
What up? What up? Good to see you, man.
Hey, good to see you. So, Dom's going to be joining us for a second, but I thought we could start talking a little bit about your involvement in Art Against the World. When I remember working with you at the Prime Slime, even before we
Yeah.
started this.
Oh yeah, the Prime Slime Showcase was a good one. It was kind of one of the beginnings of really the formation of this whole collective when we were just getting shows out and making some music and art and the international district actually of Seattle.
Yeah. Oh, we got Dom calling in. Hey, hey, Dom.
Yeah. Uh,
I just texted you the link. Great, great. And you were doing hip hop. Is that something that I haven't seen you do too much rapping lately? Are you still doing any of that?
I kind of laid off the rap. I was focusing more on other projects just because I really wasn't able to get the music to the degree that I wanted to see it. And it takes a lot of time and energy to be able to make those songs like I like. So I've been laying off it for a bit. I think one of these days I will maybe return to it when I have more time and energy to focus on it. But yeah, I've been laying off the hip hop and rap to focus on, well, the Jade Lux Philosopher's Lantern is one of them, the mini jade lanterns that we've been working on getting out to people. John's showing them right there, coming soon to a retailer near you on the internet. And yeah, focus on the craft, on the knowledge, and making some financial opportunities.
And that's really what as far as working with you, I've found is whatever art form you're doing, really, you're very much about spirituality.
Oh, totally.
You know,
Totally. It's about incorporating really the unseen and the seen just in experience, and that can be experienced through a song, through a sculpture, through a lantern, through anything really, but just bringing beauty to the world, bringing things that I like and I'd like to see in the world, and then bringing them to life.
tell me about your spiritual journey. You are into a lot of different modalities and a lot of approaches. What got you started in that direction, and what's kind of what really drives you? What are you seeking?
Well, I got started in it when I was in college. I was studying political science maybe like 7 years ago. And I just found it to be really just meaningless in a lot of ways. Like it was a lot of people talking about things. And that was just right before Trump got elected. And everyone's all these like super predictive analytic modalities of like, oh, this is going to happen, or this is like going to happen. And then Trump gets elected, and everyone's like, whoa, who would have expected that? And I was just like, well, if nobody expected that, what is the use of really this whole field? And it kind of made me look inwards, and I'm like, you know what? There's really not very much control that we have over those like more larger structures, which I found political science was mostly focused on. So I was like, the only thing that I really can control is my own self and the way that I choose to engage in the world, and how I do that. So I started studying the works of Carlos Castaneda, and then my friend gifted me a tarot deck out of the blue, and I had like a long history playing card games for like decades before that. And so I was just like, whoa, I didn't even know that really tarot cards was a thing before my friend was like, yeah, here's this deck, I thought you might like it. And so I got really into just reading cards, and I was like, what do all these cards mean? I didn't even know that I could predict the future with them. And then I sort of found like, oh wait, this isn't actually just a way to even predict the future. That's kind of one of the lowest octaves of sort of the tarot. It's also a way to really use it for spiritual growth, to really see like the main archetypes of existence and just see energy, and learn to be like, what is actually going on in this world? Because it's a lot more complex than really academia would try to tell you. Academia really likes to use a lot of like large words or concepts, but we don't live from just concepts alone. We're really like much more of a more integrated being. We have thoughts, but we also have feelings, actions, and then also dreams, all of which are really going to play a role in determining like what the Western world would call the psyche of ourselves. So changing that psyche, I was like, okay, what is the psyche, And if you get really deep into it, we all actually only have one psyche, And so if you're really like getting into that, then that's changing the way other people think by just changing the way you think, because there's really not that much of a difference, And I kind of like to think of it as like water flowing through a canyon, and over time it'll slowly make grooves. But, if we have our intention, we can direct the water to maybe flow through a new groove or a more unseen groove and widen that groove and make it more accessible to people at large. So.
Wow. I didn't realize it was so, it was kind of this post-college thing for you, because you have a real depth of knowledge, in this area. What other tools are you using? You were using some kind of interesting, what's nice working with you is learning about just kind of interesting things like the obsidian mirror, the pendulum, even the jade itself. What's your kind of connection with these sort of tools, and how do you find them?
Well, I'll break it down. You started off with the mirror, and that's definitely one of my favorite tools. So when I was in college, one of the first works I kind of came to after Terrence McKenna, who is just kind of, for those you don't know, is like, do mushrooms and you'll learn some crazy things. And I mean, that'll like kind of like get you out of the box, but as anyone that's really had a mushroom trip is going to know, is it's not really going to change your whole life in like a total way. You sort of need to integrate it a bit more. And the obsidian mirror, one of the main gods, or really the main god of the Aztec pantheon, is called Tezcatlipoca. And Tezcatlipoca's name means the smoking mirror. And for them, all their mirrors, or a lot of their mirrors, were obsidian, because it's pretty easy. It's not that easy, but for the time that there was, it's easy-ish to go get a obsidian mirror to become reflective and have a reflective surface. And so the mirror is a great tool for really pulling out what energies, but also reflections of ourselves. And I think this is something that we really need to be considering a bit more in the modern day, because we live in this like strange world of reflections. Anybody that scrolls Instagram is going to know, once you start scrolling it, you're like, oh, this scroll, like, maybe comment, oh yeah, cool, there's that my friend posted something, or whatever, and you just kind of get in that reflection of someone that's browsing Instagram. So now that's just always like, that's an information energy that's just going to be on your phone, of you just browsing Instagram, thinking whatever it is that you're doing on your phone, and it's so easy to just get kind of trapped in the scroll, and if you really don't like your reflection, you're like, oh, I gotta rehaul my profile, gotta change my Facebook profile pic, I gotta go and make a new Instagram, or make a new account or whatever. And so the mirror is a way of, well, you take it, right, and then you visualize an energy of some kind, like, okay, this is the energy of, let's say, weaknesses, giving into weaknesses and pleasures, and you look in the mirror, and then if you go and move your eyes out to the side with peripheral vision, the reflection's actually going to disappear. And so that's a bit more of a different perception than we're used to, right? Because we look in a mirror and we're going to see what we think is ourselves. But actually, if we're just seeing nothing, then what are we? We're nothing, right? And so this is, before I got into a bit more of what's called the Toltec lineage and path, I was very into Buddhism. And in Buddhism, there's a big focus on emptiness, and also it's sort of similar to nothingness, but that's a whole nother discussion. But either way, when we're looking at a mirror and seeing nothing, we're really realizing ourselves for what we are, If you believe in past lives or something like that, simultaneous lives, as some might call them, really we could be any race, we could be any culture, we could be any age, because we are the totality of human experience. But we just happen to exist on one time frame in each moment. And so when you're seeing yourself as nothing, you can choose, okay, well, since I'm nothing, what do I want to come back as? What do I want my reflection to be in, like, all the different screens and all the different mirrors in the world, And so all these tools, right? You don't necessarily need a tool to move energy, because really what moves energy is intention. But when we go and have a tool, right, like a mirror, it can be really easy to just be like, okay, I'm going to use this mirror, to go and take out the energy of weaknesses or the energy of sickness or whatever. And then there's a saying, a Toltec saying, that nothing escapes the obsidian, because obsidian is like the dream of a mountain, actually. And so
that's the dream of a mountain.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the mountain, all forces. One of my teachers said that in the Toltec cosmology, dreaming is regarded as the fundamental activity of the cosmos. And so it kind of goes back to Tezcatlipoca in a way, where it's like there's this reflected image, but really what's being reflected is just smoke, right? And you can think of the smoke as maybe like the quantum field with all the particles, right? But if you've ever have like a smoky room.
We're gonna get Dom on here real quick. Hey, Dom.
Hey, Dom.
Hey, I still don't have the link.
Do you still have time to join? Because we're kind of at the top of the hour for you.
I can stay on for about 30 minutes before I take off.
Great. Do you want to just stay on as the phone call here? I keep sending it to this number. Are you not getting it on this number?
I'm checking right now. It's next now. Okay, it just came in now.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Okay. And then there's a passcode and all that?
Yeah, it should give you the passcode.
Okay. Let me check it out real fast. All right.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're ever in a room with smoke, and you begin to maybe wave a fan around, the smoke's going to change. And so any sort of tool like a mirror, a pendulum is just a way for sort of fanning the smoke to change the energy, change the dreams, and then induce a certain result. Like an obsidian pendulum is really probably one of the easiest ways to just remove like an illness. Sometimes if I'm feeling like a really, really bad and also feeling kind of lazy, I'll just go and hold an obsidian pendulum and I'm like, take away my energy of illness and watch it just spin down to the earth, because the energy gravitates towards the pendulum, and then as it spins, it goes and with the points it down to the earth, and it takes it out of my body and then gives it to the earth, because the earth can handle it.
So it's the spinning of the pendulum? Is that what it should be doing?
Yeah. It's if you go and get an obsidian pendulum, it's gonna be really easy. You're just gonna go and hold it, and then you're like, all right, take away my energy of sickness, or of stomach pain or whatever you got. And then you just it'll once it picks up the energy, it's actually quite fast. It'll start to spin like that, like a lot. And you just let it spin, and as it's doing that, it's making like one cycle of just giving it to the earth. And so you can even do it while watching TV, although it's best to be present with it, and just kind of feel it happen. And it's like any sort of event, really is not only caused by just like actions and words, but also of dreams, of feelings, and intention. And so when it's spinning, that's changing the intention and changing the dream and changing the energy of what you got.
Now I see people do other stuff with pendulums though, like tip it back and forth. Oh, looks like we got Dom. All right. He's joining here.
Yeah, people like to use pendulums sometimes for like divination, although that's not really my favored method of divination. Just not really my thing.
Yeah. Hey Dom, looks like you're on mute. You wanna?
Let's see what's going on.
What up, Dom?
Good, we got you.
All right, what's up, man?
What up?
Yeah.
Welcome to Pod Against the World.
Yeah. Art Against the World, presented by Art Against the World. Episode 2. With our special guest, Ghost with the Most.
What up, y'all?
What up, man?
Just kicking it back, and not talking any smack, only talking the truth.
Yep.
We were just going into some of Ghost's spiritual practices that he does with different tools, obsidian and meditation, things like that.
Yeah.
Got a lot of wisdom on that. Yeah.
Nice. So what's the topics? What are the topics today?
Yeah, well, talking about spirituality with Brenton, and then what else is on our list that we've got to discuss?
I was wanted to go over how independent artists can kind of create their own tour and fundraising for that.
Man, I wish I knew, bro.
Well, we can get into some ideas, just to throw them out there, and
Yeah, I think it's key. We got to make like our own fan base, and getting people that really are interested in supporting what it is we do.
Right.
Yeah, fan base is real powerful, and using all these different tools. I mean, that's why we're doing this, just get together, having conversation, making content.
Yeah.
So we can reach more folks. Yeah. Don, what you been up to?
Just like really planning and trying to plan this tour for the summer. Try to get some more people to help me headline the tour and open up for me and stuff like that. Talking to some event coordinators, some venue owners and managers of venues and stuff like that. I feel like summer's coming up in like 2 months, so we might as well start developing, connections now, that way it makes it easier when everyone's out, enjoying live shows, you already talked to your venue owners, you already got your event coordinators together, and then you got your showcased artists that are ready to hit the road with you. And it's basically just a, Washington tour. I'm gonna hit like a couple of the islands, and things like that. Nothing too spread out. You know, we may go have a date in Portland or something like that, but that's about it.
Nice. Sounds
Yeah.
like a good time.
Yeah.
Are you working on any new music now? You have an album in tow, or are you just working on some singles?
Yeah, I have an album that's I'm still working out some stuff with my producer. But I have an album that's already done, and we're just kind of like linking up and making sure he's happy, making sure that everything's good, so we can put it out. So it should be coming out before summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be good to do for the tour.
Yeah.
Then you can look it
Definitely.
up and do some promotion.
Yeah.
Ghost, tell me about, what did you say? You were talking about divination? What is divination?
But divination is a practice where you go and you're looking, let's say you want to know like how a job's going to turn out, you know? Or, you know, one of the most practical ways, you know, I was buying a car on Craigslist and I was like, man, how do I know if it's a lemon or not? So I've, as I said, I've been practicing with the tarot cards for maybe like 7 years now. And I would just go and I would click a car, do a sort of divination. I had maybe 14 tabs open and I would shuffle the cards a couple times, go and put in the energy and just focus on the car. And then really everything is connected, you know, everything has its own resonance. And so if you're doing divination, you really just are resonating at what you want to know more about. So that just means concentrating on it. Not too hard, not too soft, but you just like hold it in your mind, and that's the main thing that you're thinking about. Then you go and cut the deck. That's what I do. You don't have to cut the deck. You can get your own sauce with that. And so you go and see what it says. So I was like, some cars, they get really bad cards. Some cars would get all right cards. But one car I found got all good cards all across the boat. And I was like, all right, that's the one. And I bought it, and it did have maybe issues that happened due to carelessness, but it still ran the whole time that I had it, you know, and I'm looking to sell that car now, and it never bummed out on me. So yeah, it was a good car, you know, and it can be a helpful tool in just sort of figuring out anything that you're unsure about, you know. It's like looking at the cards or looking at the result, you know, and there's a million different ways of divination. It's as old as humanity itself, but you know, you got to just kind of pick one form and then stay practiced with it. But you know, it's important really that you know what it is, like who do you want to answer your question, you know? Okay. Like if you're defining something, you got to ask like, I want my spirit guides to be giving me the answer to this question, you know, and then, you know, maybe burn some incense, you know, do something to really cleanse your cards before you're doing some serious divination, because if you get the wrong being giving you answers, then they're not going to be good answers.
Who are your options? Who can you ask?
Well, you know, the spirit guides are a safe bet. You know, if you work with any sort of deity or deities, that's also it can be a safe bet, you know, but like, it's like if you work with a bunch of different deities, they might give you different answers, you know, just because they have different perspectives. So it's kind of like if you ask like 5 different people, if like, oh, should I get this job? All of them are going to have different perspectives, and all of them might be right, you know, in some sort of way. But, you know, everybody has some sort of spirit guides that are looking out for them. And so if you ask them like, oh, you guys show them, you're supposed to look out for me. Show me whatever I need to know that's going to put me on the best path. You know, it's their job to really figure that stuff out for you. So they're the pretty safest bet, you know. But if you're really like fearful and you're paranoid and you're like, you got to be in a clear mind space to do it. I think that's the most important thing. Because if you're not in a clear mind space, then you're attracting all sorts of weirdos into your energy, and you don't want them giving you answers.
Oh, wow. So you get different kind of entities out there, right? Some negative entities. What are they? They just floating around? Can they get Can they get in your space? Can they get in
Yeah.
your head?
Well, if most people, if they're not a practitioner, they're going to have a whole bunch of entities. And even practitioners are going to have maybe some entities if they're not doing a great job at it. And if they're really bad practitioners, they're going to have a whole lot. Because entities, what they do is they feed off our emotions, whatever our emotions are. So, kind of like how we breathe out CO2 and then the trees eat that. That's kind of the way that entities work is we have emotions, and they're going to feed off the emotions. So that's why it's so important to be in that positive headspace, and be feeling good, feeling like love or bravery or gratitude or peace. All those things are going to attract higher entities that are going to give you higher results. But on the flip side, if you're feeling like really negative, if you're feeling like fearful or hateful or greedy or lusty or whatever, that's going to attract lower entities to you. And so that's why it's really important to like sort of feel through your feelings and not just get like stuck on like some particular feelings and just kind of let it flow, because your feelings are going to be feeding off whatever entities are around you. So that's why it's important to just return to like the heart and spread good vibes.
So is that what's going on in the world right now? Because it seems like there's all this kind of chaos and people fighting with each other, and everybody's just got kind of like nobody can communicate. All I see out there is just people yelling at each other. Is that like an entity thing? Is that what's going on with that?
I would say most people, they don't have very much determination, like that's kind of why I got out of the political scene. Is it's like a lot of people like, oh, I dislike this thing, so I'm just going to get really angry about it, and everybody else needs to be just as angry about this thing as I am, but there's really not much strength in that. I don't really know of like a case where just like anger has really done anything. The Buddha said being angry is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So I really don't think it's really like a viable solution to make change. I always find the best change and most like sustained and like radical change in my life just comes from like a place of neutrality, where it's like I'm the creator of my life and I'm gonna like do what I want to do and do what I feel like I need to do, in order for me to evolve. And so people can get so wrapped up in like these dramas that really aren't theirs just because they feel like they have to, or they feel like it's the right thing to do. And it's like, I'm not here to judge on that aspect, but just for my own personal experience, it's always much better to really just be working at things with a clear mind and a clear head and not kind of be carrying around all this baggage, whatever it may be.
Does food have anything to do with your energy?
Oh, totally. I mean, we are what we eat, I've been a vegan for maybe 6 years, and I don't believe that people need to be vegan to be spiritual by any means. It's just what's been working for me for a while. And food is like, a lot of food like has a lower, like food also has a frequency, everything is frequency, everything is energy. And so what you eat, if you're eating a lot of like processed food, or like meat, for example, one of the main reasons I stopped eating meat is because like the animals that are in there, they're like really fearful states, so one, there's an energetic component to like, man, these animals are not having a good time, and if you eat that, you're going to be maybe not having such a good time, because you're going to be on their vibe. But also it's like literally the hormones that they're producing, they produce like cortisol. Every living being produces cortisol when it's stressed. And so if you eat that, it transmutes into cortisol in your body, So I mean, that's why every time, like in order for me to stay centered, I always like to just put my hands together before I eat, and really raise the vibration of my food before I eat it. Be like, ask the creator to go and like bring it to its best possibility and fill it with light, whatever you're eating. Because I don't eat like perfect every day, but I do my best to really only eat like things that aren't going to have like are on a good vibration, because a lot of things like the American food system is so bad, like I look at the grocery store and I'm like, man, most of this shit is just poisonous, Like it really, there really is an attempt to kind of like poison people on every aspect of their life, from like various like natural and artificial flavors, air fresheners, all this stuff. Most of it's poisonous for us, but we've kind of become like dumbed down in a way, both from all the poison, and then it just kind of has a compounding effect. So it's like the most important thing to do with food is just like be grateful, raise the vibration of whatever it is you're eating, and take that little time or a little second just to fill it with like the light of your own spirit before you eat it, to kind of move anything out. But like once you start to begin to do that and really like break down like what am I eating, then maybe you might find yourself gravitating away or towards certain foods, and I think it's important to just kind of follow those intuitions, because there's a lot of bad foods that try to get sold to us these days.
Well, thanks for that. That's yeah, this is good having you on with this info. Looks like we're in our last little stretch here, Don, before Zoom kicks us out. We got about 8 minutes. What's on our list? We've got any events coming up in the calendar?
Cody's planning on a Juneteenth event that if you guys are around the way, South Seattle, he's gonna be launching his video game school. He's gonna be teaching kids how to make video games, and he's got a location right here at the Rainier Arts Academy, the Rainier Art School, right here in South Seattle, and I think we should all be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be helping the youth. He's going to have me down there as a coordinator and as a teacher. He's going to be teaching me what he knows, and as a facilitator. It'd be interesting to get, Ghost to come through there and, put together some characters and some ideas. And
yeah, I think it's going to be a good time.
He's making like board games, so he's like, he needs us to help him make characters, and like I helped him make one yesterday, and he's got this program, he's got this app where it's an AI app that creates art. So you just put in words on what you would like to be created, and the app starts creating the art for you, and you can just continue to modify it until you're happy with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
We might have to do a whole episode just on AI too.
Yeah.
Come
and
on.
there's AI music too. Drake just put out a new AI track with The Weeknd, and it's like they just made a song that it's like Drake style, through AI. It's like it's and he released it as like one of his official singles, the Drake AI song.
And it was all made with AI?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it kind of has a repetitive type of stance to it, but hey, he put it out, so
yeah. Is there any urban arts market activities going to be coming up?
Yeah, this summer we're planning on attaching the urban arts market to the tour I'm putting together. Cody's going to use his space to launch some of the events for the market, and like always, we're looking for other collaborators to, get attached to it as well. So there will be a lot more urban arts markets going on. We're getting back to First Thursdays, Pioneer Square. We're gonna start pulling the canopies back out there pretty soon. And
yeah, if anybody out in the listening audience wants to do some vending, if you've got some art you want to sell, or you got some products that you are doing, we are collecting people together to come to these markets and art openings. Bring a pop-up table, put your merch out there. We'll promote, and everybody's had a good luck selling things and meeting people and doing networking and stuff. It's real good activities.
Yeah, and if you guys are into the live events, Coachella is going on for its last weekend. Today's actually the last day. You can actually watch the whole thing. I think most of the shows they're live streaming the whole thing, so most of the shows start at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So Yeah, there's like maybe 6 different stages, a whole bunch of different artists coming up. Um, yeah, I've been watching it for the past week or two, so. And it's interesting to see how they're doing their stages and like with all the lighting and all like um, all the stuff that's going on, with the creation of stage entertainment and stuff like that. Like, like all the artificial intelligence, all the AI stuff going on in the background, and you know, all the delusional things that pop up on the stage and stuff like that. So that's something to get into as well as we looking to go into live performances and stuff.
That's good. And check that out. Needs to get some inspiration.
Just tap into Coachella on YouTube. They're live streaming. It starts at 4 p.m. It started last Friday through Sunday, and today's the second week, so it'll be coming on today for today's the last day, and there's a bunch of headliners and stuff, so you'll probably see some cool sets. And it's on 6 different channels on YouTube. So just type in Coachella, and then they'll have all 6 of their channels, and it'll show you who's coming on next and what stage they're coming on.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, good. Thanks so much for joining us this week.
You're welcome. It's good to be over here.
Yeah. And
let's have you on again.
Yeah, let's do a compare and contrast of Discord and Zoom next week and see what the pros and cons are. John, are you able to control the whole meeting from your computer? Or?
Yeah, it looks like it.
So, like, can you mute me out if you needed to? Like, if you're like, oh, Dom's not coming, it's static or something, you can mute me? Or
see if I can do that. Yeah, I can. I can mute you, and I can unmute. I guess I have to ask to unmute. So I can't unmute, but I can mute. You have to unmute yourself, Tom, but I can mute you. So
how do we add time?
Then that's the only problem, is you got to have a pro account to do longer time.
In Discord, we went for about an hour.
Yeah, we went for longer than that. Yeah, so that's a nice thing. But this does give it breaks out everybody's audio into separate tracks, so that's a real advantage, which I can't figure out how to do that with Discord.
Does it allow you to put things on the screen like you were doing on Discord, like share your screen?
Yeah, you can do screen share like we did with Discord.
Okay, that's good. So we just got to get it to be a little longer. How much is the pro account? We should all probably just go in and let you get that going.
Yeah. Well, let's see. If it looks like this is a good option, then maybe we do the pro account. Yeah.
Okay. Definitely.
Do we have a sign off or anything?
Hey, this is you. Yeah, this has been Pod Against the World, presented by Art Against the World, with the special guest, Ghost Avalar, with the Ghostly Connection. And is there anything you want to throw out there, Ghost? Any shout outs?
Oh, shout out to Art Against the World for putting it on, man. Y'all are doing good. I hope the podcast keeps growing and growing.
And what are some of your handles that people can find you on?
You can follow me at Ghost of Balar, and that's really it for right now. Ghost of Balar on Instagram and TikTok.
And what's going on with Carousel?
Carousel, I don't know Carousel.
Remember you were doing the tour, the tour bus thing,
Galaxy Caravan.
Yeah.
A Galaxy Caravan is coming one day to a town near you when we get Galaxy funding.
Yeah.
Well, we'll catch everybody next week on Pod Against the World.
Yep.
Yeah, Pod Against the World. Peace, y'all.
Pod Against the World. Peace.